if you will please rise for the pledge and remain standing for the invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Reverend Merlene.
Heavenly Father, we come before you with a grateful heart, Lord. We acknowledge you to this community that you've created here, Father. We ask for fellowship one with another, to support, encourage, uplift one another in these times. Father, we also intercede for the welfare of this community. We give thanks to you today, Father, for our leaders who serve and are committed for the growth of this city. We ask that you give them wisdom, make wise decisions that affect the lives of so many people. Father, we lift up this community to you today. We ask you to strengthen them, help them to endure the pressures that they face daily, and may they prosper in grace. We pray for open doors for the businesses, for opportunities of increase. We ask you, Father, that we spur one another on to unity and that we bring about resolution and devoid of all conflict. Father, we trust you that you are faithful to not only hear, but to answer these prayers. And we give you all the praise and the glory. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Mike, if you'll take the roll call, please.
Councilman Wurzbacher.
Here.
Councilman Lloyd.
Here.
Councilman Schlatt.
Present.
Councilman Barr.
Here.
Councilman Valerius.
Here.
Councilwoman Nick.
Here.
Treasurer Estheimer.
Present.
And Mayor McLeod.
Here.
We have a quorum, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve tonight's agenda? Motion by Mr. Lloyd.
Second.
Second by Mr. Barr. Heard a chorus over there. Any changes or corrections?
Through the chair,
Yes.
I would like to change resolution 2 to add it in, to add pending an agreement made with city administrator for the city. How did we phrase that?
Okay. I think
Yeah.
I think you had subject to an agreement with the city administrator, which will require the filmmaker to indicate the story and characters are fictional.
There you go. Bingo.
Through the chair, he did get back to me and said, yes, of course, and the language can be adjusted however you need it to feel comfortable. It's an entirely fictional story and will be told as such with that disclaimer.
Right. So we have that amendment to Resolution 2. Is this acceptable to Mr. Lloyd and Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, are there any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the agenda is approved as amended. May I have a motion to amend the minutes from the regular meeting of May 12th? Motion by Mr. Valerius, second by Mr. Wurzbacher. Any corrections? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion is carried. We now come to organizational business, and the first order of business is a proclamation for Pride Month, which I will read, and then we will hear from members of that organization. LGBTQ Pride Month, June 2026. Whereas the City of Allen Park supports the rights and dignity of each person and appreciates the importance of equality and freedom, and whereas the nation was founded upon and is guided by a set of principles which includes that every person has been created equal, that each has rights to their life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, and that each shall be accorded the full recognition and protection of law, And whereas the City of Allen Park's lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer LGBTQ community are a vital part of all fields and professions and contribute to a stronger community. And whereas 57 years ago on June 28, 1969, at the Stonewall Inn in New York City, a courageous group of citizens rose up against harassment and mistreatment, setting in motion a chain of events that would become known as the Stonewall Riots and the birth of the modern LGBTQ civil rights movement. And whereas while we as a society at large are slowly embracing new definitions of sexuality and gender, we must also acknowledge that the need for education and awareness remains vital in order to end discrimination and prejudice. Now, therefore, I, Gail B. McLeod, by virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor of the City of Allen Park, Michigan, do hereby proclaim June 2026 as Pride Month in the City of Allen Park and encourage our residents to reflect on the ongoing struggle for equality that members of the LGBTQ community face and celebrate the contributions that enhance our city. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of the City of Allen Park, Michigan be affixed this 26th day of May, 2026. And if one of the members would like to come up and accept this proclamation, perhaps join Mr. Lloyd and give him some support in this presentation.
Does one take a picture? You gonna take a picture, Mara?
Oh, you got it.
I think so. I don't know. Oh, nice. Official here. Deb's gonna take our picture over here. Zoop, zoop, zoop.
There you go. Oh, sorry. There you go.
It might be loud. I don't know. It might be quiet. We'll all find out together. All right, you guys got this.
Hello, we are the Prism Club from the Allen Park High School. Thank you for having us. Thank you for having us here today. These are some of the topics that we will be discussing today.
Oh, sorry. All right. It is important to understand internalized homophobia because it drives chronic stress, shame, and isolation, directly fueling mental health struggles, and it fosters around the common stereotypes and beliefs that have been afflicted onto society. Internalized homophobia and oppression happens to gay, lesbian, and bisexual people, and even heterosexuals who have learned and been taught that heterosexuality is the norm and correct way to be. Hearing and seeing negative depictions of LGBT people can lead us to internalize or take in these negative messages. Some LGBT people suffer from mental distress as a result. According to research from the National Alliance on Mental Illness, the stress of hiding one's identity or feeling ashamed can result in increased psychological distress. My name is CJ Hamilton. I'm 17 years old, and I go to Allen Park High School.
My name is Ink Mazzoleni, and
Make sure you speak into the speaker so people
Sorry.
can hear you.
my name is Ink Mazzoleni, and I'll be talking about the political points of the LGBTQ community. The first Gay and Lesbian Pride Month was established by President Bill Clinton in 1999 due to the Stonewall riots previously mentioned earlier that happened in 1969. The Obergefell v. Hodges was a rule passed by the U.S. Supreme Court allowing all the same-sex couples the right to marry, extending legal marriage for same-sex couples. The first Pride Alliance Center was opened on the campus of the University of Iowa in fall of 2006. affectionately known as the Pride House, originally named the LGBTQ Resource Center. It provided a designated, affirming space for LGBTQ+ students, allies, and student organizations. And the Log Cabin Republicans are self-described as a group of LGBTQ members of the Republican Party who work to increase inclusion within the party, to voice Republican values among the LGBTQ community.
And now we have a short video from a former Allen Park student. Just as warning, there was a difficulty with the audio, so if it doesn't work here, then we have someone to talk for her.
Dear City Hall, dear teachers and dear representative of a prison club, and of course our audiences. My name is Anastasia Grinaro, and I was an exchange student from the Republic of Moldova from 2023 till 2024. I had a remarkable experience of being part of a prison club and taking part in its activities, for making sure the LGBTQ students were represented in most classrooms, to showing that it's okay to be the way you are, making sure everybody has a place where they will be included and heard at the same time. And what an experience it was. From a country where you can't even speak about it in a hushed tone to a place where this is taken into consideration and is a public interest for a healthy community. I didn't expect for it to change me in the ways it did. Most of you would wonder, can this club really mean that much to a person? And the answer is, how can it not? How can it not make you more empathetic towards other people? How can it not make you curious about the needs of other people from the community? How can it not make you active and interested in representing each other in places of important decisions? Now, let me give you some context of what is normal from where I'm coming from. Picture this, a country where half the population wants a European future and half the population wants and supports the Russian government. Imagine a place where being part of the LGBTQ community will either give you basic tolerance or a beating. And the worst part is, the beater or the person that is an aggressor won't even serve jail most of the time. Consider yourself in a situation where you don't exist until you are part of the political agenda of the Russian supporters to scare people away from the European future. You are not a voice. You are not a number. You are not anything that is unimportant. You don't even have a name. You are just a taboo. The big scare and the big rainbow monster, but it will not be outwardly accepted in schools, extracurriculars, or jobs. And what is worse, you can't even accept that part of yourself, because all your life, loving the other gender is considered being a pervert, being tied to the crime of loving minors, being tied not to your identity, but to a bigger narrative from the history of the Soviets and prior. What a miserable existence. Not one of being forgotten, but one that is non-existent, unspoken, but still present. Yet, I am not scared. Or better said, I am not as scared anymore as I was before. Recently, I had the opportunity to organize free activities in which we discussed themes like gender-based violence, feminism, LGBTQ rights, and human rights, because otherwise you will not be even able to speak of it, because it is not accepted. The human right to exist, to love, to be able to care for one another, and we can't even talk about it. In my city, voters' history sides with the Russian supporters. We are more conservative than the ones in the capital, but we aren't as unmovable as I thought. The youth that participated were really enthusiastic. It was a level of activity I didn't expect from them. A thirst for knowledge and the need to know and see the opinions outside of their families, as well as the opportunity to discuss these sensitive subjects openly. This is what made it be a success for me. Even if most of the population is not ready for the change, at least the youth should be on the path to consideration and understanding. And if before this I thought communication is important, now I know that understanding is the key to being compassionate with one another. Thank you everyone who supports and partners with this organization, clubs and people who advocate for LGBTQ people and youth. It matters way more than you can imagine to them, to their friends, to their parents, and to everybody who isn't as ready to accept them. Because once communication is in motion, once collaboration sticks, And once we reorganize what is truly normal for us, it is then when life will not be as difficult to live, especially not alone. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Liliana Garza. I am a 17-year-old senior, and I would like to talk about how people can really make a change. The ways that people can make a change is by being more inclusive as a collective, having more things to do to celebrate Pride Month and the year same-sex marriage was legalized, volunteering time and donating resources to support organizations, and educating yourself and others to create a welcoming environment.
Hi, I'm Grace Nation, and I am also a senior at Allen Park High School, and I would like to talk about what PRISM means to me especially. From the start, PRISM Club has always been a way for the LGBTQ+ students of Allen Park High School to express themselves. PRISM Club has always encouraged its members to stand up for what they feel is right. As a senior who has been with this club for 4 years, I can confidently say that PRISM Club is a safe space for students to be who they are and express how they feel. Whether it's worries about a recent movement or concerns about an upcoming bake sale, PRISM has always made students feel heard and understood. PRISM Club's combination of outreach and indoor activities has successfully created a stable and welcoming environment for APHS students. Thank you, that is all we have for today. Let's keep working together to build a world where everyone can live authentically and with pride. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Matt. Our next item is a document regarding Responsible Fatherhood Month, which is June in Michigan. In Michigan, celebrating and advocating for engaged dads primarily occurs during June, often recognized as Dad Week or tied to Father's Day. While recognition of this month does not warrant a proclamation, I think it is important to recognize and understand how our children are impacted. 1 in 4 children in the U.S. lives without a biological, step, or adoptive father, the highest rate in the world, according to the U.S. Census Bureau 2023. And America leads the globe in single-parent households at over 3 times the global average, according to Pew Research. In Michigan, approximately 1 in 3 children live in single-parent households. There are nearly 1 million child support cases, and more than half of new mothers, 56%, are unmarried, and approximately 35% of children are raised by a single parent, with 78% of those raised by a single mother. There are a number of organizations focused on these issues, including the Wayne County Fatherhood Initiative, spearheaded by the Children's Center, the Michigan Fatherhood Coalition, a statewide group, and the Citizens Defending Freedom organization, which Pastor Nelson of our chaplain corps brought to my attention. While the data focuses on single-parent homes, children without involved fathers are more likely to struggle in school, experience emotional and behavioral issues, and face increased risks of incarceration, substance abuse, and teen pregnancy. Recognizing Responsible Fatherhood Month is meant to highlight the vital role of fathers and encourage men to be more active and engaged parents. There is a memo that's included in the packet and it is online, and it has a number of links for anyone who is interested. And it's not just directed towards fathers, it's any couples who might be having questions or struggling with being parents. So I encourage you to take a look at that and perhaps explore some of the links that are provided and see what help is out there for you. We will now move on to the city administrator's operational report, and while this is not the city administrator, we have a very apt sub.
I'll try to live up to it. Couple events happening. The Historical Museum grand opening and ribbon cutting is going to be this Saturday, May 30th at noon. The ribbon cutting is at 1 p.m., so bring your friends and family out. We'll also have Busta Dogs and Crave Kitchen food trucks. So arrive hungry. Shred Day and Styrofoam Collection was rescheduled, and so that event is coming up on Saturday, June 6th from 9 to 12 in the morning. It'll be right here behind Culver's between Allen Road and Bob Seeger Boulevard. When you enter, please enter from the Philomene from Allen Road. The library started their summer hours this week. Their summer hours are 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., Monday through Friday, and will be closed on the weekends through Labor Day. The library is also working with the DDA this summer to do summer outreach at the Allen Park Farmers Market starting this Friday, the 29th, and going through August 28th. Lastly, the Parks and Recreation, in collaboration with the Allen Park Athletic Club, have completed the renovation of the Pretty Family Park Ball Diamond.
Thank you. May I have a motion to accept and file the administrator's report?
Motion.
I have a motion from Mr. Schlack, second by Mr. Wurtzbacher. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion is carried. We now come to public comments portion of tonight's agenda. You have 5 minutes to speak. All we ask is that you provide your name and the street on which you live. Please do not provide your full address. And the only other thing we ask is that you be civil.
Matt Tracer, resident. I don't think I'm going to be able to be civil. And the reason I'm here tonight, Madam Chairwoman, is you pissed me off. I'm going to do my best to make you sorry you did that. Through the chair to the Mayor Pro Tem. After one of the data center meetings, I had the extreme displeasure to make you and a friend of yours acquaintance. Now, I paraphrase your friend in that she stated she was gonna do everything she could, would not stop, until her proposal that all signage in Allen Park be in English. I think your friend is an obvious ignorant bigot. My question to you, do you support that resolution to make a city ordinance to prohibit anything but English signage? Yes or no? It's easy.
Mr. Tracer, this is public comments and no one's required to answer questions.
Okay.
Just so you're aware.
That's
Just so you're aware.
smart. I hope this city attorney is smarter than the last couple. And you would be smart to sit there and take it. Because everything I'm about to say and do is okay under the Constitution. Now you, Chairwoman, do you support this proposal? This flat out, blatant, racist proposal. Do you support it?
Mr. Tracer?
Yes or no?
I think that
It's my
action-
time.
It
My
is,
time.
And we will.
Yes or no?
No,
You don't support it.
absolutely not.
Thank you. Good for you. Righteous proclamation. But here's where you pissed me off. I've been going to a few of these data center meetings. Made a big deal. First Thursday of every month, data center meetings. Now, you appoint the people on that commission. And from what I can see, there's one member that's concerned about the will of the citizens of Allen Park. And that's Citizen Dan. Because when he made a proposal to deny that structure, he didn't get support. It didn't pass. So obviously, the people you put on that commission who are obviously beholding that position to you, that you are on top. The buck stops with you. When you canceled that normal Thursday meeting, and at 18 hours and 1 minute, you put out the proclamation there was going to be an emergency meeting on an off day, that makes you a scumbag politician, as well as not squashing this racist proposal. I'm going to contact my legal counsel. And if you think this was harsh, once I contact counsel, and what with the president dropping F-bombs on Easter Sunday, you are not gonna like what happens next time. So I suggest the city attorney read the 43-page decision from the last time you tried to inhibit my rights, because I'm going to be pushing it right to the edge. And I got a 50-50 chance you're going to do something stupid.
Hello, my name is Tyler. I live on Arlington. I've had the pleasure of being in your city for the last 3 years. I'm telling you this right now. If you guys approve this data center, I will be more than happy to pack my shit and leave. I purposely moved to Allen Park from Westland with your guys' community. Every time you guys host a community thing down here, I am always down here. I am always willing to support the community. I will never support a data center. There is thousands of other places to put that hunk of shit than not even 1,000 feet away from a school, 800 feet from a park where kids walk and play day in and day out. I was planning on making Allen Park my forever home because I do love this city and I have a ton of respect and honor for all of you board members. But if you approve a data center, the second you approve it will be the second I start looking for a new forever home, and I will be leaving and taking everything with me away from this city, and I will never look back. That data center has a million other different places to be to. Allen Park is not one of them.
Hi, Melissa Shermonti, Oceana Avenue.
Make sure you're talking to the...
Melissa Shermonti, Oceana Avenue. A little bit different than most of the residents that might be here tonight. I am actually not against data centers or AI. But what I am against is the unthoughtful and absolutely shamble-tastic planning that has been happening throughout this process. As an average citizen, I have a degree in biology, I have a master's degree in learning development. I'm just an average Joe, hanging out here in my little house that I bought and paid for and pay taxes on. I want to address the proposed Solstice Data Center project, and not to relitigate the Planning Commission's process, but to ask that the council pay close attention as this comes before you. I've spent the last several weeks reviewing public record on this application, and what I found is a pattern of information that was available to the applicant and not shared with the city. There's so much dissonance and inconsistency that I can't believe that the Planning Commission is even entertaining this. And as an average citizen, I can find this data, but you all can't? Please. A completed wetland delineation report was finished in October of 2025, identified nearly 3 acres of state-regulated wetlands on this parcel. I moved to Michigan to have wetlands, to have forests, to have nice communities, to have parks. I am from northern Michigan, originally from Chicago. I live here because it's a nice little community with little kids and nice schools. But this, when you actually do development like this, it harms everybody. Let's see here. The Planning Commission's own consultant, as recently as May 7th, described the same delineation is still in progress. The applicant was sitting on a finished report for 7 months and did not submit it. Additionally, Eagle, Michigan's environmental agency, was contacted about this exact parcel as far back as 2022 by the prior developer, specifically regarding the reek drain. The current applicant filed a new EGLE pre-application in March of 2026, indicating there was no wetlands involved. I have an overlay map that there's one smack dab in the middle of it. And the construction and the grading are going to affect the large one to the east. Again, I'm just an average citizen. And the fact that I have to go through and comb through paperwork and do analysis and write letters that get no response is completely infuriating. And the fact that you think Allen Park residents are this phenomenally stupid is ingratiating. It's shameful and pathetic of the Planning Commission that we have to do the work that they're expected to do to protect us. Since there's no dialogue, somebody else.
Hi, my name is Rebecca. It's a little bit different because I'm a neighbor. I live in Lincoln Park. I live 3 miles away from this proposed data center. The residents of Lincoln Park, Allen Park, and Melvindale combined is over 90,000 people. That's 90,000 lives that depend on water, clean drinking water. We already know that Wyandotte has had a problem with their water. Clean drinking water, electricity that's going to be dependable. And as a Lincoln Park resident, I can tell you that I have fought with DTE in the city many times about getting trees trimmed and things fixed in that regard. We also rely on safety. And the fact of the matter is that your drinking water will look like mud. You would beg to drink Flint's old water. Not this one, not this kind of water. Your water pressure will be a trickle. You're putting this right behind a high school. And like somebody else has already said, there's wetlands. A high school full of students, some that were just here tonight. Now, I graduated 24 years ago. Those kids had enough wisdom and strength to come here and ask for something that you gave them, thankfully. Those kids at Melvindale High School, which used to be Baker College, how is the noise from this going to affect them? The noise has been shown to affect animals, including the ones in your home, because they can hear it at an up level. It also bothers people with issues like ringing in their ears already. The electricity, from what I can read, is that they are to be the first ones looked at. Their electricity should be always available. So what that means to me is that the next thunderstorm, and we've been having some frequent ones, the next thunderstorm that goes on and a bunch of people's power goes out, including those with oxygen tanks, nebulizers, CPAP, and BiPAP machines, things that need to be plugged into a wall. And I don't know about you all, but not all of us here have money to go to Randazzo's and get a generator. So those people are going to suffer because they're going to be last on the totem pole to get their power restored. This does not just affect Allen Park. This affects the surrounding community. These data centers that are going up, I'm hearing of one about in Gibraltar, where close to the Detroit Wildlife Refuge, and to me, that is criminal. These are harmful to people. They are harmful to people's health. They are harmful to the environment. How are these students going to get an education when they can't hear their teacher over the constant hum of these data centers, or their water is not sufficient to drink? Their electricity keeps going out in the high school there. This is absolutely ridiculous, and I am begging from the bottom of my heart that you guys at least say no for a year. At least. That's at the least you could do. To let the communities come together and figure out what else we can possibly do to stop this. Because I'm telling you, it's not going to make the city any better. It's not going to bring jobs. It only brings jobs while they build it. After they build it, those people get fired and laid off. They got to look for the next one. It is not beneficial to this city. Please reconsider this, I beg. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm kind of here on a different note. My name is Michael Walker, and I live at 6331 Cobe Avenue, Allen Park, Mitch. I am here tonight because I feel like I have exhausted every normal avenue available to me as a resident trying to get help with the serious issue affecting my home and my neighborhood. Approximately a year and a half ago, a water main break occurred in front of my home. Prior to that, additional work was also performed near the sidewalk in front of my property for a separate water issue. Since those events, my house has experienced signs of settlement and sinking, and neighboring homes on both sides of me are now dealing with similar concerns. Multiple homes to the right and to the left and directly behind me have also required plumbing repairs within the last several months. I have since learned there is reportedly a crack in the city sewer line, while my own private plumbing lines appear to be in good condition. Given the timing of these events and the number of nearby residents experiencing problems, I believe these concerns deserve serious attention and investigation. What has me most frustrating is not only the condition of my home itself, but the response I have received while trying to seek help. I have attempted to communicate with the city through emails, phone calls, and conversations with city personnel. I have spoken with members of the building department, the water department, and the mechanical and plumbing inspectors. That include Matt Baker, Justin McLeod, and Brad Burns. Instead of feeling like my concerns were being taken seriously, I left many of those interactions feeling dismissed, ignored, and discouraged from continuing to ask questions about the concerns going on with my home. As a homeowner and taxpayer, I do not believe it is unreasonable to ask for answers when multiple homes appear to be experiencing similar issues following major underground infrastructure problems. I also attempted to work through my homeowner's insurance company, but my claim was denied. At this point, I feel stuck between agencies, departments, and insurance companies while the condition of my property continue to concern me. I'm not here to attack anybody tonight. I'm just here because I want to have accountability, transparency, and action. I am respectfully requesting a formal review of the water main break and sewer infrastructure in my area and my neighborhood, transparency regarding records, inspection, repairs, and complaints related to these issues, clear communication with affected residents, and engineering evaluation to determine whether underground condition may be contribute to settlement problems in the neighborhood. I care about my home and my neighborhood and the safety of the residents living there. The home I purchased is not the home that I live in now. I simply want these concerns documented, investigated, and taken seriously before the situation potentially becomes worse. Thank you for your time.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Lisa Courier. I'm a resident of Allen Park and reside on Balfour. When I recently became aware of Allen Park being a targeted site for AI data center, I immediately began researching for as much historical data as I could find on these centers. My intention was to create a SWOT analysis to brainstorm the strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities and threats that the AI data center constructed in Allen Park from my point of view as a resident of the city. I found information explaining the differences between data centers and AI data centers, whether large megawatt facilities or the smaller edge facilities. I could not find any historical data to assist with how a strength could be associated with the proposed AP AI data center, other than what appears to be lip service promises and Waymo capability, which is autonomous driverless vehicles. I moved on to the weakness portion of the analysis and brainstormed the following. Again, no historical data of impact on the water in the downriver area. No historical data of the impact of the electrical aspect of the operation or how it will affect the community. The aesthetic aspect is also a source of contention among most people in the community. The impact on the health of the citizens of the community is perceived as a weakness. Sound and light nuisance and pollution are weaknesses. Fast-tracking construction of these AI data centers, regardless of size and based on the current method, serves not the community. The few shreds of what I perceive as opportunities for the community in my research are short-term relative to construction jobs, which aren't even guaranteed to the local workforce. Most of the opportunities lie with investors, the opportunity to exploit the community for profit. There's also opportunity to collapse financial systems related to Bitcoin and insider trading that's rampant. I think a better opportunity for our community is a transportation hub to help our workforce. Car insurance in the state of Michigan is a whole other topic. The last part of my analysis pertains to the perceived threats of the community. Just some are the ecosystem. Utility rate hikes. Demand is forecasted to double or more in less than 4 years from these AI data center designs. Noise, air, water, and light pollution and how these will affect the health of the citizens. Compromised water. With the amount of deregulation, I suspect pretty much a guarantee that the forever chemicals that are used in these closed-loop cooling systems will be discarded into our water systems with no accountability. The lack of accountability and regulation is in and of itself a perceived threat. AI technology threatens job force. Just this past week, Meta displaced 8,000 employees due to AI spending surges and plan on leaving 6,000 of those jobs unfilled. AI will cause complacency, targeting critical thinking and logic, and will regress knowledge and application of such knowledge. Property values are threatened. Population migration and avoidance of this very city. Education will be affected if there are not enough citizens to support millages. Life as we know it is threatened. The negative aspects clearly outweigh the good, and I've always been a proponent of, if it's not for the greater good, it's no good. Some may argue that speed is a motivation to construct these AI data centers. Others may assume that the tax breaks affect the community rather than the investors, while others may think that racing to the AI data center market will somehow put the U.S. above any other country. But China, apparently, is winning that race already. They've built an eco-friendly data center that is powered by renewable energy. Instead of perceiving China as a threat in this realm, learn from them. Building a data center powered by our grid and water supply is behind the curve. What we do gain with AI And how does it positively affect the majority of citizens is the rhetorical question that I'm still pondering. After all I've read and researched, I do not see any positive reason or outcome for the city of Allen Park and the surrounding community if this data center is built. Thank you for your time.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and members of the council. Thank you for listening. Mine will be brief, and it might be more on a personal level, but it's apparently from reading different things, this is the time of year, spring.
Excuse me, could you provide your name, please?
Oh, I'm sorry, Wendy Stevenson, and I live on O'Connor Avenue in Northern Allen Park. And I understand this is the time of year when sidewalks are being looked at because, you know, of different things, settlement and more than or approximately the 2 inches raised that are not allowed. And our situation is that there is a tree, a gigantic old tree with very large roots on the berm, and the roots of the tree have lifted the sidewalk. There might be others with the same concern. When we called numerous people, we were just given the answer, I don't know, and go to the city council meeting. So my question is simply, who do we go to? How do we proceed? It is illegal, to the best of my knowledge and due to my research, it is illegal to touch the tree, to scrape the roots or do any work on the roots of the tree because it is on the burb. So we're just looking for some direction, but something other than I don't know.
I'm not sure who you talked to, but you should have been directed to the DPS.
No, no, we weren't directed to anyone.
My name is Carol Rudo. I live on O'Connor Street.
Carol, I'm sorry, what was your last name?
Rudo, R-U-D-O. I did call, I believe it was DPS. It was the number on the citation. And it was a girl who said she was new and she didn't have the answers. She did recommend we come to this meeting tonight. She thought maybe other people
She
would
must
bring
have
it
really
up.
been new. No, you should be talking to someone at DPS, and if you would do me a favor, and one of you leave some contact information on one of those sheets of paper that's at the podium, and give it over here to the clerk.
Because there's
We'll get back to you.
other issue where other people downriver in other cities are saying they can't get an appointment within the month period. It's required. There's a 3-month
Yeah,
wait.
we understand, and
Okay.
we know what people are
Okay,
going
so
through,
we
but
have
if
a
you would
question.
please leave some contact information, we'll get back to you.
Thank you.
Okay, and again, oh, I'm sorry. Who do we leave this contact information?
If you'll just leave it over here by the clerk's desk.
Okay, thank you very much for listening
Thank
to
you.
our concerns. I appreciate it.
Hello. My name's Phoenix, and myself and my daughter and my grandson live 1.2 miles from the proposed data center site. The irony of the gentleman speaking on broken water mains, infrastructure issues, and a pattern of not being heard and being dismissed, and saying it's unrelated to all the public comments on the data center. His comments prove our point and affirm our concerns are more than valid. I'm here tonight on behalf of an alliance of downriver residents that oppose the proposed data center in Allen Park. The group includes over 500 residents from Allen Park, Lincoln Park, Melvindale, Taylor, Wyandotte, Southgate, Grosse Ile, and many other downriver communities. From the diversity of the speakers tonight, you can see that many people who don't usually have much in common are coming together on this. And we have our first meeting scheduled for May 31st, 4 to 6 p.m. at Real Park. That's the park that's 800 feet from the proposed data site. We were excited to learn that the park's pavilion was available for our date. We paid to rent it. We had to sign a contract. The next morning, we got a call saying that the city was canceling our contract. It's deeply disturbing to me that the city canceled our park pavilion rental. Apparently, you all are, I have to wonder, how much money does it cost a data center to buy an entire city? Because you must be giving it away for free since you say you're not getting paid. But I'm not sure which is worse, selling the people out for dollars or selling us out for nothing. And speaking of parks, there are 11 parks within a 2-mile radius of the proposed data center site. It's also on a wetland conservation area, and it would be less than a mile from a senior citizen tower and Melvindale High School. I'm not sure if y'all heard about the Garden Grove incident going on in California right now, but they're dealing with an evacuation due to a potential hazmat situation out there. The data center company said that if they go 24 hours without water, that would result in an emergency. I have several questions about what that emergency will look like for the residents of Allen Park and the surrounding cities. Since they have hazmat material there, I'm assuming that it ends up being a chemical spill situation. Is the city ready to deal with that? Do we have the infrastructure to respond to a hazmat situation? What happens if it gets in our waterways, our soil, and the surrounding wildlife and ecosystem? Do our homeowners' insurance policies cover us in the case of an evacuation? If the data center is approved, I highly recommend that homeowners check to see if their policies have, quote, loss of use, unquote, coverage, which pays for lodging and meal costs while the family is under mandatory evacuation. A single emergency failure can place entire populations, first responders, schools, vulnerable residents, and surrounding ecosystems at risk. These situations impact not only human health, but also air quality, wildlife, and waterways. And corporations don't care if we die as long as we make them money. But it's your job to keep us safe. We need corporations handling hazardous materials to be scrutinized under a magnifying glass, especially when operating near densely populated communities. A 1-year moratorium would give us a chance to do this. The Melvindale Mayor and City Council passed a 1-year moratorium on data centers last week. They heard the will of their people and they understand the hazards of a data center, and they did the right thing. Cities all over Michigan are doing the same thing, including Kalkaska, Howell, downtown Lansing, York Township, Washington Township, Ypsilanti Township, and the list gets bigger every week. And it's not just local. There were 79 data center rejections nationwide in just the first 4 months of 2026, surpassing all of 2025. You told us that you canceled our reservation for the pavilion because you didn't want to, quote, appear to be supporting a cause, unquote. But by canceling our reservation, you're making it clear which side you're on. And it's not the side of the families that live here, and have made it absolutely clear that we do not want this. I'm just going to say that my dad was a union rep at Ford for decades. He taught me that the people united can never be defeated. So we're calling on the council to create a 1-year moratorium against data centers, and the Planning Commission to deny the preliminary plan for the data center.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Tank. I'm in Arlington.
Please make sure you're talking to the mic, please.
My name is Jennifer. I live in Arlington. I really came today, and I wasn't really prepared to say anything. And I'm kind of ashamed in myself because I am a 30-year resident. I grew up here. I moved away. I moved back here. I bought my grandparents' house, and I moved back because I love the community. I voted for you. Gail, I voted for you twice. I've voted for everybody here. And I am ashamed in myself that I wasn't watching the city closer. I'm ashamed in myself that we are now at the 4th planning committee on this data center, and it is clear that people, they're doing the research. I did the research. You know, I started to investigate the planning committee. I learned a lot. Who's on the planning committee? How does a planning committee get appointed? What is the benefit of the data center? How does the DDA benefit? Interesting to see a lot of correlation between planning committee members, DDA. And I'm also kind of concerned that all these people are here and they're telling you they don't want this. What's next? Why? Why are we still entertaining this? Why is the city of Allen Park still entertaining this? Is it money? Is it legal? Is there something that Solstice has on us? Is there pictures with goats somewhere? I don't know. But the city and the citizens have spoke up. Come on. We got to figure out a way to get Solstice out of our city. The 4th time is coming up next week. They haven't been providing the information required. It's time to kick them out. Can we get them to leave us alone? So, if it's money, then as citizens, we have a choice for our money as well. Boycotting of city events, DDA events, library events. It runs both ways. The citizens are getting pretty peed. We want them out. Let's end this. Thank you.
My name's Julie, and I live on O'Connor. I didn't know if I was going to speak today or not, but I guess I will. Some of it is personal. Some of it is more like a community aspect, because obviously everybody's been on social media and is seeing what is going on with the data center. I am not for it. My home is right across the street from Real Park, the baseball diamond. I do have children. Mr. Lloyd, you know my son, Jeffrey Politz. Yeah, I tried to get him to come, but I think some of the concerns are very legit, because it seems every time I look for answers or watch the meetings that have been going on at the Planning Commission, there is more questions than answers. I guess what I'm asking is to hold off. I agree with a 1-year moratorium, just because that will give the community time to get the answers, and it will be able to address the concerns, the environmental concerns. Like I said, I have kids. How is this going to affect my child's health? The hearing, the home value. I've heard that it will affect rates with my electricity. I don't want to have to pay anything for a multi-billion-dollar company that's trying to put something in my city. Water rates is a concern, the pollution, environmental. I don't think we have the answers to that currently. And I know that we're going into the 4th meeting, and I haven't been able to attend any because of work, but every time I watch, there's questions, and then we'll get the answer, but there is no answer. And if the data center is coming, why don't we hold off for a year and see if we can get those answers, because it would be more beneficial to the entire community to have those answers. That's pretty much all I have to say. I hope you guys consider what the community is saying, whether I haven't heard anybody speak up for the data center, but whether they're for it or against it, both concerns on each side are legitimate. So thank you for your time.
Hi, I'm Erica. I am an Allen Park resident. I live on Jonas. That was actually one of my daughters in the club. Thank you for having them. I didn't plan on speaking either, But just in hearing everyone, and I am ashamed of myself as well for not doing research that I feel I should have done. I am a single mom. I've lived in the city of Allen Park since 2013. It's not as easy for me to just pack up and leave if this decision is made. But I feel like in looking in the history of the city, going all the way back to the failed film production studio, just rushing into decisions and the failures that can happen, and I feel like the city is still paying for that. There's so many other concerns and issues that we have that haven't been addressed. I feel like my taxes keep going up, and yet I can't get my streets swept. You can't get trees trimmed. Anytime I lose power, I'm out of power for like 4 to 5 days at a time, and the most DTE will give you is a $25 credit, you know, regardless of a full fridge of food that you've lost or anything else that's damaged. So, I mean, again, I don't hear not a single person saying that they want this. So when do our wants and needs as the people that you're representing come into play? When do you truly represent us in what we're wanting? So, thank you.
I'm Lisa Nadrowski. I live on Thomas Avenue. I've lived in Allen Park my whole life, 63 years. My 3 children have bought houses here in Allen Park and live in them here. My 2 granddaughters live here. And I am against this data center for the same reason that everyone else has spoken. And I just wanted you all to know that. And I hope that you will either vote with against this data center and the moratorium. Thank you, the moratorium. And I just wanted to speak my words. Thank you.
Well, if no one else is coming up, we will close the public comments. But before we move on to the consent agenda, I'd just like to clarify a few things. I will say it and then I will let you fill in the blanks. The state established a planning commission and a zoning board of appeals, which are completely independent from city council. And they did that for a reason, to ensure that there was no undue influence by any elected officials on planning and zoning. We have been receiving your communications. I have anything that I have received, I have passed along to the Planning Commission, because you need to understand that this matter is not coming to council for approval. So we are, excuse me, would you at least give me the courtesy of trying to explain a few things to you?
Don't lie.
Mr. Tracer, if you would be so kind as to listen. I'm trying to give an explanation. This project is not coming to the council for approval. What comes to the council for approval from, say, example, the Zoning Board of Appeals, is when they deviate from something and they are going to give a special recommendation, then that comes to the city council. This project is strictly under the jurisdiction of the Planning Commission. We do hear you. I have made it a point not to influence anyone or anything. There is no one on any of these commissions that is beholden to me for anything.
Bullshit.
And you can, Mr. Tracer, please be courteous.
Well, you're not
Will you?
They're in your pocket.
Excuse me.
You appoint them.
Let her talk. She let you talk.
That's right, or you can leave.
Shut your mouth.
Yeah.
We could please have some order. You can determine whether or not I'm lying. But you can talk to any commissioner and anyone that's been on commissions. I have not reappointed people to commissions who I felt were not serving in the best interests of this community. I have put people on commissions who are qualified, who do have the best interests, keeping in mind that these individuals are also residents. They live here, they're going to be impacted. I am not going to express my opinion on the data center one way or another. I may have an opinion on it, I may have feelings, but I am not going to communicate that to anyone because I want them to make an independent decision. That's their job. I will let someone speak about moratoriums, but I can tell you that in a simple term, you can't do it once the horse is out of the barn, and I will let someone from legal explain that to you. The thought that having a moratorium for a certain period of time will allow individuals to gather more information would not work that way. A moratorium would put a stop to it. There would be no more information gathering. The statement that was made that I canceled the Planning Commission meeting is completely untrue. I do not, nor any council member, schedule any commission meetings. Those are strictly up to the commission and the departments to whom they report. And there are laws regarding when these meetings need to be posted and when they can be canceled. My understanding is that the last one that was canceled was because they did not have a quorum. They run into this frequently, particularly in the summer when people go on vacation. That is what happened. I cannot speak to, I don't know when they schedule, as a matter of fact, their special meeting was scheduled in conflict with a commissioner's appreciation dinner that we were holding that night, which meant that none of the Planning Commission members were able to attend. There were a few other things that were mentioned. Again, this is strictly the Planning Commission. Unless there's a deviation, it does not come to council. But we have heard you, they have heard you. What you have communicated to us has been passed along to them. There are things that we hear that are not necessarily factual. There's a lot of opinions get tossed around. There's a lot of misinformation. But there are some valid concerns. I can sit here and I can tell you that when I listen to the individuals or I get emails, in my mind, I think that is a valid concern. That's a valid question. It's something that needs to be answered. That is the job of the Planning Commission. And while I know this is dragging out, and we would all like to see some resolution to it, and trust me, I can tell you that every member of that Planning Commission would wish for that more than anyone else because of the abuse that they've been taking. They are asking the right questions. They are digging. They are seeking the truth. They want to make sure that they make the right decision and not jeopardize this city and put them in a position that's indefensible. But they also want to make sure that our residents are protected and that the information that they are getting is true and factual. Now, I will let someone else talk about the moratorium because that's more of a legal question, but all I am saying is that this comes under the jurisdiction of the Planning Commission. We hear you. We understand what your concerns are. We empathize with you, but we don't vote on this. So you can continue to inform yourselves if you're able to attend a Planning Commission meeting. I am hoping that at some point we get some of the same questions that are coming over and over again, that we put together a sheet that says, here's the question, here's the answer. Even I'd like to know some of them. And that's basically it. I will turn it over to the attorney to address the moratorium.
Good evening. I think I speak for everyone here. Thank you for sharing your comments and I know all your concerns are very sincere. And this is difficult. This is very difficult for everyone here. Everyone here lives in the city. Everyone here is concerned what happens. But I'll tell you, planning issues are very nuanced. They're difficult, and you often weigh the interest between citizens, between people who live around it, as well as the property owners, and it's very difficult to deal with. And it's very difficult to be on the Planning Commission because, they get accused of things without really any proof of them doing anything other than their job. And, but I'm not going to speak to defend them. Things will just have to play out there. But I will tell you that, tonight you're here, you're asking for a moratorium. Some months ago, mayor and council, there was discussions about a moratorium. The question is, hey, all these other communities are doing a moratorium. Why don't we look into that? Well, the problem is, in our situation, we already had someone coming into the city with a proposed plan. Now, you don't read this in the paper, but moratoriums in general are risky. They are legally risky. However, when you do it in a situation where you have a plan on the table and then you put in a moratorium, those are very risky.
It's preliminary. It's still preliminary. Please. We have had our public comments time, and this is not the attorney is trying to communicate to you the legal aspects.
And people are free to disagree with what I'm saying. I'm just sharing with you our legal opinion with respect to this. And again, you're free to agree or disagree. So, well, many, there's a lot of people who would like to impose a moratorium. As city attorney, our office deems a moratorium under these circumstances as not being advisable. We need to follow the law, and we need to let the Planning Commission do his job. And again, we thank you for all the input today. We took we took notes, and we'll make sure that the people who need to hear it will get all this information. Thank you.
And I would like to add one more thing, because I just remembered that something came up. There is no tax abatement. This community has not given any tax abatement. There is no intent to ever give a tax abatement. And there is no similarity, and I could get into that, between that and what happened with the movie studio. That's completely different entity. But again, there's no special treatment. There's no money that's been exchanged. I will tell you that I think I communicated to someone that some of these numbers that were thrown around by, I think it was Stolz's, when they came in, it says, oh, this is going to result in X millions of dollars in property taxes. Well, that's not so. And if you talk to our assessors, they will tell you there's no way that you can come up with a figure without knowing, the size of the building and everything else, and it has to be assessed. So these are just, pull it out of a hat or whatever, however you want to look at it. But there's no special interest groups that are going on here. And I will tell you that there isn't an individual sitting up here on this dais that would be putting themselves in a position of hurting their reputations. They all live here, obviously. And they are going to continue to live here. And no one's going to jeopardize their reputations on something of this nature. And again, I will stay neutral. I may have my opinions and feelings on it, but I'm going to stay neutral, because in no way do I ever want to influence the outcome of an independent board. Now we'll move on to the consent agenda for tonight, which consists of claims and accounts on the payroll report. May I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Nick, second by Mr. Barr. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is approved. Moving on to Resolution 1. A resolution to approve the request from Intercity Baptist Church for their annual fireworks display on June 28, 2026 at 9:15 p.m. with final approval from the fire chief. Motion, please.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Barr.
Second.
Your voice changed. Second by Mr. Wurtzbacher. You have a memo from Mr. Murray. No, that's the wrong one. And a memo from the fire department.
Good evening. So yes, Intercity Baptist Church has applied for a fireworks permit following the same plan that they've used over the past many years. We feel that their plan is a quality plan and it has worked for many years, and we will continue to work with them as things develop. But we have approved their application.
Does anyone have any questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is approved. Resolution 2 is to approve Alex Savota, filmmaker and former resident, a one-day of filming in the City Council chamber to take place over a weekend, and as we now know, in September. Subject to an agreement with the city administrator, which will require the filmmaker to indicate the story and characters are fictional. Motion, please.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Lloyd. Second by Mr. Valerius. I think we had a lot of discussion on this at the work session. Mr. Savota graduated from Allen Park High School in 2015 and has been working on creating a feature film. With a complete script, funding, and a cast, he is ready to start filming. Inspiration for the storyline stems from being a former student of Dan Lloyd's government class and rewatching our public meetings, council meetings, on YouTube. The story is about an underprepared protagonist that comes to a meeting at City Hall, which is not anything like any of the individuals who came today who were very prepared. Alex is asking to use our council chamber to film a portion of his film. Other locations in Allen Park will also be included. Mr. Murray was requesting approval to provide the one day of filming in the city council chamber to take place over a weekend where a city official would be on site for assistance. Comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is approved. Resolution 3 is to authorize the Allen Park Fire Department, you should have just stayed up here, to apply for a Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation grant. The department is seeking funding to purchase one Bullseye digital fire extinguisher training system elite package at a cost of $26,235. This grant would require no matching funds from the city. Motion, please.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Slack.
Second.
Second by Ms. Nick. You were late over there. I heard her first.
All right.
Chief O'Reilly.
Good evening again. So yes, I'm asking for authorization to have Gabby, my administrative assistant, file a grant request with the Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation for the purchase of the Bullseye Digital Fire Extinguisher Training System. This is a digital and laser fire extinguisher. It's a system. It comes with a digital board. It comes with fire extinguishers that are special. Yep, they have their multiple stands. And this system is something that the department is lacking. We don't have any kind of fire extinguisher training equipment. A lot of the equipment that is out there is the older style, which uses water or foam or chemicals. You can't use it inside. You can't have children using it. This system, again, is a digital system, so there's no cost from the initial purchase to recharge anything. We're not spraying anything to find out later it has PFAS or any kind of hazards to anybody that was exposed to. And, you know, the biggest thing is everyone asks, well, how do you use one of those? And we see them everywhere. We all look at them, we all go, yeah, I know how to do it until that moment. So I think training is a really important item for this product. And it is my recommendation that we look into ways of purchasing something like this.
Any questions?
Through the chair.
Yes.
Will you be using that at any community events?
We could. Have to get it first, and then we'll develop a plan once we find out that we got it or not. But the plan is to use it for community events at our open house, possibly take it to schools, because it can be used anywhere and by anyone.
Now, I know that a couple of years ago, you came up and when you were deputy chief.
Yes.
Did a presentation in front of the Allen Park Citizens Fund.
Yes.
That was a little bit more than we could bite off and get those kind of funds for, but I'm glad that it's working out this time.
This is a expensive piece of equipment, and it is one of the reasons why we've never been able to purchase it. It's a lot of money for a training piece, but it's a very important piece of training, and that's what these kind of grants are for, helping departments out and get things that are just out of reach.
I think just a comment, I don't think this is identical to the one that you brought to APCC.
Very similar.
Yeah, similar.
Yeah.
Actually, the one I brought forward was less expensive. It didn't have all the bells and whistles. But if we're going for a grant, might as well go for the bells and whistles.
To the chair, it sounds like possibly a recruitment tool then as well. You're able to take it to schools, stuff like that.
Absolutely. It's not going to bring us a firefighter that's fully trained in, but it does open the door to young people who don't know what they want to do, or it's a talking point for high school when we go to their employment education days, just to bring them in, talk to them, and get that little seed planted that possibly it's something they want to do.
Are there any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, resolution is approved. Resolution 4 is to authorize the Allen Park Fire Department to join the Wyandotte Fire Department and participate in a 2025 Assistance to Firefighters Grant, an AFG, regional grant opportunity for the purchase of department radios and associated equipment. Motion, please.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Barr.
Second.
Second by Mr. Valerius. Chief
Okay.
O'Reilly.
So again, I'm here tonight to ask for authorization to join the Wyandotte Fire Department in a regional downriver grant with AFG. They just notified us that the AFG has been opened, and it has a very short window. They will be closing it in June. So what we are looking to do is join a regional grant. We tried for this 2 years ago, and we're not successful. But this grant will help us replace the department radios. The portable radios are all 10 years plus and are no longer serviceable by Motorola. So we are working with what we can right now, and as radios break, we have to work ways to make things work, if that makes sense. The batteries are expensive, the radios are expensive. Radios right now are averaging around $9,600 each for radio, battery, associated equipment, and programming. All the radios have to be programmed to 800 megahertz, and they have to have basically a block so that people can't listen to everything that we're saying. It keeps the information private in the world that we live in today. This grant would also, if the funding is there and we receive the whole thing, and depending on what the prices are, we would like to replace the truck radios, as those are at least 15 years old. Those are about $15,000 each. So this grant, what we're looking for, will help pay upwards of $300,000 for us with a 10% match, so it'd be about $30,000 if we were awarded the grant. The grant itself would be worth millions, as we have 5 other cities that are going to be involved in this. The grant, to have the grant company write the grant for us, it's going to cost approximately $2,000 to $2,500.
Any questions? I had one on the grant writing fee. Is that something that not only we, but Wyandotte will be putting in? So the total is $4,000 to $5,000 for the grant writing fee?
So the grant
Or is
writing,
that split
it's
between
per
us?
department.
Per
So
department?
that is per department.
Okay.
There's a lot of information that has to go in. I contacted multiple department heads to get the information from the city, because they want at least 3 years back of finances, of duty injuries, of all our runs, the kinds of runs. They use all that to try to decipher who needs it. So there's a lot of time and labor into these.
Yeah, very intensive.
Yes.
Very intensive. Any other questions from council? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. Resolution 5 is to waive the city bid process, APCO 2-824-4, as there is no economic benefit, and approve the purchase of 2 John Deere 1R25 compact utility tractors and accessory attachments from Deere and Company in an amount not to exceed $75,133.32, using the State of Michigan My Deal Cooperative Purchasing Program, with funds coming from 401-000-985-003 Capital Outlay Public Works. Motion. Motion by Mr. Valerius.
Second.
Second by Mr. Barr. Mr. Filipski.
Well, good evening. As you recall at our budget work session, this is one of the items that we talked about adding as part of the service improvements that we can do after the winter that we had. Equipment like this would help us plow through sidewalks there and make those more accessible in the wintertime. So we talked with the vendor and found that we were going to be delayed in getting these up until at least as late as November, so we wanted to get ahead of it. It's actually a purchase for next fiscal year, but seeking approval now so that we can have those in hand and ready for when the snow flies.
And just to be clear, the sidewalks we're talking about are the sidewalks around parks.
That's correct, yes. Yeah, I should clarify that, yeah. We need about 40 of these.
Because there's some of us who've been around long enough to remember other things, so.
Yeah.
Through the chair, just.
Yes.
Again, kind of piggybacking off what you said, because I know there were questions related to the plowing of the walkways around the city parks, and this equipment would be specific to make sure that that happens in the upcoming winter months, correct?
That's correct. And that's why they call them the compact tractors. They actually are made to fit the width of a sidewalk. And then there's those 3 attachments that go with it that let us face really kind of any kind of snow. The real heavy stuff, we've got plows and snow blower attachments, as well as brooms, which can help clean off a dusting, but also have utility for DPS, for cleaning before or after street fairs and things like that.
Any other questions? Only in the winter. I think we can probably arrange something for them. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. Resolution 6 is to waive the city bid process, APCO 2-824-4, as there is no economic benefit, and approve the purchase of a 2026 Ford F-450 dump truck with equipment pricing coming from the City of Rochester Hills contract for $36,305, and a chassis pricing based off the State of Michigan and Macomb County 2026 contract bid for $62,332, with a grand total of $98,637, with funds coming from capital account 401-000-985-004 in the 2026-2027 capital budget. Motion, please. Motion by Mr. Valerius.
Support.
Supported by Mr. Schlack. Mr. Carr.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So just like Mr. Filipski said with the snow removal equipment, we're looking at lead times on things, and it's just getting crazy how far away it is. With this coming fiscal year, we have a dump truck in there. Our current one, as I mentioned in my memo, is 2014, and we just sent our 1997 into auction because it's no longer usable. So the other one's 12 years old, and this one, I worked with Roy Shipman at the garage because our last one that was purchased prior to Mr. Fulton and myself, the plow is not compatible with the rest of the city. Boss plow mount, this one we currently have does not have that, so the new one will have a plow mount. It will have an extra row of seats. It's a lot more. Roy and I went through detail of everything on this truck, so it's for what we need on the park side. So I think it's a great addition, and it's looking like 10 to 12 months to get it, so we might not get it till next summer, but for garbage at the parks, for shelters and moving mulch and anything else we may need, so.
Questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is approved.
Thanks, Kyle.
Resolution 7 is to waive the city bid process, APCO 2-824-4, as there is no economic benefit, and approve the purchase of dehumidifier and condenser equipment from Service in the amount of $830,000 from account 401-000-985-005 from the 2026-2027 capital budget. Motion.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Valerius.
Second.
Second by Mr. Barr. Mr. Carr.
Once again, we are looking at the ice arena equipment as Mr. Lobb spoke about in the budget meetings, that the rink is now aging. The units are now becoming harder to repair, harder to find parts, and as we continue to be sold out on the ice every season, this is absolutely necessary. The hope was to have these in by the time the season started. That is unfortunately not going to be the case, so it's going to be another in-season install, which unlike the tower, this is not so critical because it's just the air. The tower runs the system, so that one, when it happens, will be a much quicker turnaround, but this one will replace one at a time. We have two, so if they get both at the same time, they can shut one off, replace it, and vice versa. So looking like probably September for this one as well.
Through the chair.
Yes.
Kyle, just for clarification, for public knowledge, the dehumidifier and the condensers, this is essential for rink operations, correct?
Yep.
So if we lose the current one that we have right now, then the ice would basically be non-existent.
It's
and
going to
all the booked ice times would basically be canceled, correct?
It's going to be extremely foggy, and the ice would not be playable.
And also, per the Parks and Rec meeting and everything else, we discussed that these units are more energy efficient and more operational in regards to the current ones due to their age and everything else, correct?
Yep, these are all under new technology with the controls to a much more modern system as regards to setting humidity percentages and temperatures and be able to set a schedule like we did with the ice plant a few years ago.
Okay, thank you.
Just out of curiosity, how old are the current ones?
They were put in 2003 when they redid the arena. So they're 23 years old, so they're past their time.
Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is approved.
Thank you.
Get them ordered. Now we come to elected officials' comments, and this evening we'll start with Mr. Estheimer.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. First of all, thank everybody for coming out tonight with your questions, comments, and concerns. Hope everyone had a safe and Memorial Day as we celebrated those who paid the ultimate sacrifice. I just wanted to give a quick update. I didn't get a hold of Mr. Mizzi in time to make the agenda, so I'm just going to give a quick Treasury update. We've been very busy the last few months with trainings, certifications, but most importantly, tax settlement. So the settlement process is complete. All the delinquent tax bills have been sent to the county for collection. So that process is underway thanks to Finance Director John Lobb working with Kristen Zotter, Deputy Zotter, pulling all that together and helping through that process. Our next task, and this is my first of at least two more at the next couple council meetings, is talking about what we're working on now, which is the summer tax bills. All tax bills will be mailed out to residents on or about July 1st. If you do not receive a tax bill by July 1st, please contact our office and we'll get one to you. Failure to receive it doesn't necessarily mean you don't have to pay that tax bill. It could have got lost in the mail or whatever. So if you don't see it by mid-month, mid-July, please reach out. They are going to be due at the end of August. So we just want to make sure that you get the information. And lastly, the summer tax bills are typically much higher due to the fact that they handle all the collections that we do for the county and for the schools. So just be prepared for that. And that's about all I have. I'll talk about uncapping and that type of stuff at a different meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Mr. Mizzi.
Thank you all for coming out. God bless you and good night.
Mr. Wurzbacher.
I would like to thank everybody that came out and come up to the podium and spoke tonight. Some were civil, some not, but I listened to everybody. I myself live roughly about in between a half mile and 3/4 mile away from that facility. In fact, I can stand out on my front sidewalk and take a straight shot down Enterprise Drive. So, you know, this affects everybody. And there's a lot of emotions on this. And in fact, you know, you can't go anywhere. And there's two topics right now: getting robbed at the gas tanks and you know, gas stations, and data centers. You know, it's very hot. You know, and we get it. Everybody here gets it. We all live it. Now I'd like to go on some other things around the community. The Allen Park Beautification Commission's 2026 Adopt a Flower Bed Program has officially begun around the city and also at community parks. So through, you know, like our boulevards like Pinecrest and Wick. I'm still learning the streets here, okay? You'll see flower beds popping up, and they're all by volunteers that not only do they maintain them, but they're the ones that pay for the flowers to be there, and they go out and water them on a regular basis and weed them. Speaking of flowers, the DDA, if you're driving around Allen Park, if you drive down North Allen or through downtown and Southfield, you'll find that they have their hanging baskets up. And downtown, everywhere is really starting to take shape. Why I'm talking about the DDA, Downtown Development Authority, Jamie Horn, member of the DDA, made a video and had it circulating through the different avenues of social media. And her focus was highlighting each one of the restaurants that are on North Allen Road that are affected by the resurfacing of Allen Road. And I thought, you know, I see things in marketing and media and every day, and some of them are good. Then there are some that I just say they hit it over the fence, and that was one of them. Get out there and support the Streetery, the Jalapeno, any of those restaurants or those businesses down there. Please, you know, don't forget them. They're taking a hit right now. One thing, I don't go on social media a whole lot. I'll jump in and take, you know, I'll read some comments and stuff. But a lot of it is, does the city do this, or who do I call for a new garbage can, or, you know, the city has a really nice website that it's really easy to navigate through. And every time I've gone on, in fact, I went back on it today, and I was looking at some things. All the calendars are on there for the events that are up and coming, you know, throughout the community. A lot of your answers are there. Phone numbers, what department to reach, you know, for this or that. Take a minute and navigate through, and I'll tell you what, every time I go on, I'm more informed as about the city services, what the city does, and of course, what we don't do as a city. The last thing is speeders. Down my street yesterday, a young guy, really nice car. In fact, you know, I've always been a car guy. And when I was 17, I get it, you know. I had a supercharged car. But I didn't fly down side streets either. A lot of kids. And this car that went flying by me, I'm still a car guy. 750 horsepower, and this guy's flying down the street. And my neighbor across the street, little son, a toddler, was out in the front yard. His parents were out there with him. All it would have taken for him to run out in that street in a split second, and a lot of lives would change forever. But you know why I was still pondering on that today? Then I hear on the news in my car, 2 MDOT workers just outside of Lansing today around 2:30 were killed doing their job because somebody in an SUV didn't find it plausible to slow down through a work zone. 2 people that went to work and did their jobs, whether they have families or not, aren't going home tonight. 2 people that when they got up this morning probably had plans for this coming weekend. Those plans are forever gone. Slow down. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Ms. Nick?
First of all, I wanted to thank the Prism Club about getting up and giving us some information about their club. I give them a lot of credit. It's really hard to get up and talk in front of people. So for high schoolers to do that, that's amazing. So I would like to thank you for coming. And then just some things that are going on in our city. Again, thank goodness, the opening of the museum, finally, after 6 years. And I just want to thank everybody from past commissioners, from the commissioners now, who helped out, has made that all possible. So please, come and see it. Saturday's going to be a real busy day, especially on Park Street, because there are so many things going on. You have the opening of the Historical Museum. The Kiwanis Day will be at the Duda Park, which is also be known as the Barney Park. They have that from, let's see, I think it's 11 to 2. So they're going to be face painting, arts and crafts. There's going to be food. Also, the Angelica Church, which is right across from the museum, is having a car show from 12 to 3. So there's a lot going on, so you can just go right on down Park and hit all of those events happening. Which Matt Tracer was here because I wanted to rebuttal what he said. It was a data center meeting, and it was after the meeting was over, and a bunch of residents were outside talking, and he did get into a debate with another resident about he said a proposal, but there is no proposal that's being brought forth to us. So I'm not really sure what he's referring to as that, but I mean, I was there talking with other residents, so, but he got into a debate with someone else. So that's what happened there. But on a serious note, I do want to talk about the data center. We have received a lot of emails. I have forwarded your emails on to the Planning Commission. I've lived here over 65 years. My family is here. My daughter, my youngest daughter, lives right by the proposed data center. I have done a ton of research. I've been at the Planning Commission meetings. I went to on Valentine's Day where Solus had a meeting. I know there weren't a lot of people there. I asked questions. Their information was contradictory when I was there. But I just want the residents to know that I do care a great deal about this. I have done a ton of research. When you send me things and give me links, I read them. I'm getting them on a daily basis. So I just want you to know that we are concerned up here. We do care. I've lived in the city my whole life, so I just want you to know that we are listening to what you say, but unfortunately it is in front of the planning. But I do want to commend my fellow council person, Dan Lloyd, for the last planning meeting. He did try to get it, how does it say, your motion was to get it to denied, thank you. Unfortunately, he wasn't supported and it did not pass. And I just found out just a few hours ago that the planning meeting on June 4th, the data center is not on their agenda. So just let residents know that. So thank you very much. Good night.
Thank you. Mr. Valerius.
All right, gonna be a little long-winded. So again, kind of piggybacking off what Mayor Pro Tem Nick stated, I think it's kind of disingenuous of people to assume that that we don't do research and that we don't, do our due diligence in regards to these proposals and stuff that may not come before us, but still they affect us. It was stated we're all residents of Allen Park. and we do care. My wife and I, we've been residents 28 years, and I've served on council since 2019. I've done my research as well. I've looked into this. I personally have contacted Eagle multiple times about the wetlands and permits associated with this construction project. I've researched edge data centers, mega data centers, proposals in other communities. So it's not like we're just sitting up here doing nothing, and I really think it's kind of insulting to assume that we're up here doing absolutely nothing. And I know the comments were made. My home is only 1 block away from Real Park, so that's one block, one park, a creek, and a set of railroad tracks from where this thing's going to be built. So I think myself and Councilman Schlack are 2 council members whose homes are the closest to this data center proposed. So I don't care anymore if it gets me in trouble or not. I've stated in the past I don't support this, and I'll continue to state that I don't support it. I oppose it. But then again, like my Mayor Pro Tem Nick said, it will not come before council. It is a planning commission decision, so I respect that as well. So I want to also thank the young individuals from Allen Park High School. As a former public speaking teacher and speech teacher, I know it takes a lot of guts to come up here to talk in front of a group, and I just want to thank them for doing so, thank them for their strength, their voice, and for simply being who they are. So, and the last thing I want to touch on is the thing about the Responsible Fathers Month for this month of June. It touches especially for me because I am a child of a single father. My dad raised my brother and I since I was 10 years old. My brother was 13 after his divorce from my mom. During that time period, we were all in Florida, and my dad actually hopped in the car, drove all the way down nonstop to Jacksonville, Florida, got there, picked my brother and I up, turned around, and drove all the way back to Michigan. He slept on his couch in a small 1-bedroom apartment in Southgate so that my brother and I could have a bed. He taught himself how to cook, how to serve in the roles of a father and a mother while working swing shifts to provide for my brother and I. He defined what a father is to me, and I can only hope to emulate his actions, his commitment, and his love for his family, friends, and everyone he met. And with that, I yield.
Thank you, Matt. Mr. Barr.
Well, I have to agree with everything that everybody else has said. I and my wife have been here in Allen Park for 38 of the last 40 years. We too also purchased our grandparents' home, so I understand. I'm also a downriver rat. I've lived here other than those 2 years downriver. As for yesterday, the holiday, I went to 3 different Memorial Day services here in Allen Park, Southfield, and Wyandotte. I just want to say, remember, Memorial Day is a solemn holiday, and when the flag gets raised at 12 noon, it represents the resiliency of our republic. I want to thank everybody that came up here. I think I may be the 3rd closest to the no, it's not a competition, but I think I'm the 3rd closest to the data center site. Believe me, I don't necessarily want it either, but I do have to look at all answers and all questions pertaining to it. Personally, I don't want it either. Going back to yesterday, Memorial Day. If anybody wants to find out what the day is all about, go to the VA hospital downtown or Ann Arbor, talk to some of the vets. I personally had, how do I want to say this, knowledge and known people who were from World War I, okay? Those ranks are pretty much gone. So now it would be World War II and Vietnam. Talk to voluntary services at the VA, and they'll help you meet up with some of those vets. No, that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Gerald. Mr. Schlack.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to start off by saying, like the rest of my colleagues have said, thank you for everyone who came, expressed your concerns, comments. Mr. Valaris and I have been saying it for years before Mr. Barr was on council that people want to see stuff in the north part of our town, but I think this year has definitely made up for it between the construction and now with the data center, and I'm not going to compete who's further or who's not, but I think I'm even closer to the park. But nonetheless, I have said, taken off my council hat and have said how I felt about the data center. I'm not for the data center, but I also respect the process. I respect the process that we, as council people, with advisement and what the mayor has put out to appoint people to serve those capacities. And so much so that we did honor those at the day of the last planning commission, was, she said, and I mentioned before, to honor their achievements and what they have done. And we're going to be doing that this Friday and then Saturday with the museum opening, and see those hard efforts. So I want to continually thank those citizens that stand up. Don't be discouraged by, you see, I hope this encourages you more to even continue to serve on a commission. It's hard work, yes, but I have talked to so many commissioners over the years, and I know the vast majority do not regret it for a second. But I want to change gears just slightly. I want to say two things. One, congratulations to all the seniors that have already graduated and those that will be graduating in the coming weeks. And I wish them best future success. And I also wanted to mention that the Beautification Commission, it's that time of year where they're going to be going around the community and asking residents to nominate a business or a resident house that you see. Go on their Facebook page, or there will be a flyer if it's not already on the page, where you could vote for what's best with a QR code. So I encourage you to do that, and if you get chosen and picked, or your house or that business, they get a little placard from their business, and they take great pride in that, and then they're then presented at a future council meeting. So definitely take full advantage and look into that. But definitely, that's, yeah, I think that's all I have to say for now. So thank you, and good night.
Thank you. Mr. Lloyd.
So I apologize to everybody in attendance for one more long-winded response, but I especially apologize to our employees who have to be here. So sorry to the back corner in particular. Everybody else can leave if they want, but you guys are you guys got to sit there. So apologies. So first off, I want to speak to Mr. Walker. I know you kind of got the meeting that you chose to came to kind of got lost in the sauce a little bit, but those are very serious concerns, and I hope I will make sure I follow up with our DPW department and make sure that we get those issues addressed. Those serious things, and obviously our home here, it's one of our greatest assets, so we want to make sure that we keep that good. So thank you so much for coming. I appreciate that. Again, I want to speak to the Prism Club. I'm just so proud of those kids. I think it came through in the video, but to have a place where you know that your community values you and values your existence and who you are, it means a great deal to those kids. My nephew, who just graduated from Michigan State University, was part of the very first groups that came in here that had Pride Month recognized. And it is so important. And the young lady who she actually, if everyone up here remembers, she was at the meeting a couple years back, Anastasia, who was an exchange student from Moldova, where being a member of the LGBTQ community can have violence perpetrated against you and your family. Again, talking about Memorial Day and that great sacrifice. That sacrifice is so that we can live in a country like that, where people can be free to who they are. And it very much speaks to their courage and to the sacrifices made by many Americans. One more caveat, and I just mentioned this to Councilman Schlack before I got up here, is that I am the only voting member on the Planning Commission that is regulated by, that's deemed by the state to have that. Because that, I have been getting a lot of emails, and I'm doing my best to answer them. The ones that I can answer quickly, I do answer quickly, but and as is sometimes the case, because again, as everybody saw today, people are very well researched, they're looking into this. If I get a highly technical email, I try to get all the information so that I can fully respond to it. I work full-time as a teacher, I'm a coach, I have a 3-year-old at home, and so I promise you, those are things that I take into consideration. And I just want to, so in the house that I grew up in, it was mentioned by, the democratic process was akin to religion. In the film that Mr. Savoda is going to be making here, he talks about Dan Lloyd's government class, but it wasn't in my class. It was in my father's class. For 25 years, he taught a class called Impact on Government, where the core idea was the biggest impact that you can have on government is at the local level, and in return, the biggest impact the government has on you is at that same level. So he encouraged people to come to city council meetings, his students to come to city council meetings, to get up and speak when they thought that they were that there was issues that were important to them. Me personally, I grew up watching the Comcast video that some people might be watching right now. I'm watching my dad come to not this podium, but the podium over at the old church or later here, and speaking up for his community when he thought things were important. It's why I'm sitting here. It's something that I grew up with, was that idea that the voice of people is the voice of God. It's the most important thing that you have in a democratic process, and that you need to let the elected people know how you are feeling. And I've said this multiple times up here. I've said it multiple times, that we 7 people that make decisions, we can't possibly know everything that's going on in the city. And so not only is it important, but it is core to this democratic process that people come up and speak their minds. That being said, I am so honored to work with the individuals that are up here who sacrifice their time and their energy to serve this community. And again, we have all disagreed on things at this dais. We have all come down on different parts of it, but we disagree respectfully. And we do so knowing that that other person is acting in the best interests of their city and of their community. And it is so important that when we disagree in this country, we do so with respect. Because when we don't, that's when the process breaks down. That's when we no longer can have a conversation and we start yelling matches and we just start tuning out the other side. And that is when the democratic process ceases to be. It ceases to exist. It is all founded on respect. And I will say this, another aspect of that is that we are a nation of laws, not a nation of people. Everybody up here, if we could rule by fiat and say, we want to get rid of this thing or we want this thing to happen, okay? That might seem great for a while until government turns around and is looking at you. So we have to act into these institutions, and I know that it's frustrating, and I know it seems like it's something that's holding us back from the things that we want, but it ultimately is the thing that is protecting what we hold most dear. So ultimately, in this dais and in this country, all power for the government flows from the U.S. Constitution. And in that, it divvies it up between the federal and the state, and then it goes from the state down to us at our local communities. And the state constitution has given us an ability to rule in our own communities to an extent. And so one of those things that is core about this, and I'm going on this long-winded speech because I so want people to understand this, is that we only have so much power to regulate what it is that comes into our community. We have the ability to say what ordinances it meets, make sure that those developments meet those ordinances. We have the ability to plan our city, to make sure that we have different sections that are set up for different developments. And we have the ability to make sure that the people that are coming to these, that are applying for these plans are following all those rules. That being said, as a member of the Planning Commission, okay, and I've sat up for 4 planning commissions now, okay, with lengthy public comment. This is the first one where we've had this at City Council, but you guys all get the gist, okay? I've taken thorough notes. And I promise you that this is not something that I take lightly. It's actually one of the members from Solstice. He came up and he said, this isn't like a Tim Hortons or an Arby's. And I agree. This is not a Tim Hortons or an Arby's. This is something that, especially this type of data center, we have not seen, okay? And as of yet, as a member of the Planning Commission, I have not seen. And that's what I have said loudly and over again, is that I can't move forward until I know exactly what that I'm voting for. Until I have seen plans and I'm able to have a third party, our civil engineers, who we pay to make sure that they give us advice, are able to say that this is safe for our water system, that this is not going to cause a negative impact on the people that are living near there, my colleagues up here. Until I see those civil drawings and I'm able to independently evaluate that, then I will not move forward with it. That being said, is that we have to follow the law. And I promise you, I am going to do everything within my power that has been given to me by the U.S. Constitution and the Constitution of the state of Michigan to try to act on the behalf of the people in this room and the people that are outside of this room, because it is something that is core to my being and core to my values. Last thing, again, and this goes for my members of council up here, and I just have to make this point one more time. These people are all serving their community, and they are doing so at personal sacrifice to themselves. And I know that every one of us probably has stories like this. My wife is coaching swim right now, so I had to get a babysitter to be here tonight. And before I left, and I'm telling my 3-year-old son that the babysitter's coming, he goes, we have an Amazon Alexa, he says, "Alexa, I don't want my daddy to leave." And I'm here because this is work that needs to be done. These people are here because this is work that needs to be done. When you come to a commission meeting, they are sitting there because it's work that needs to be done, and those commission members don't get $1, a cent. They're doing it because they're serving their community. And after all of this dies down, and everybody no longer cares what goes on at a planning commission, they will still be there doing incredibly boring and incredibly important work. So whoever's hearing this, if you're at home watching on YouTube, or if you're in this room, when you're having those conversations on Facebook, when you're talking to your neighbors, please impart that message to them. You might disagree with them, and I encourage you. I do more than encourage you. I am asking you, I'm pleading you, come and let your elected officials and your representatives know. But at the same time, please treat them with the dignity and the respect of a human being and somebody that is making a sacrifice for their city. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dan. I'm going to piggyback on a couple of things. I'm not going to try and follow Dan, though. With regard to information, Mr. Wurzbacher mentioned the city's website. We also have city Facebook pages that contain information. And you get a quarterly magazine called Allen Park Today, which has tons of information on it, including names, numbers, and including a calendar regarding trash pickup, when yard waste starts and stops, and on what days your pickup might be delayed. And mine is delayed this week, so I don't have to go home and take it out tonight. we've had some other discussions on some items, and I just wanted to communicate something because we had some comments made last council meeting about our budget and our budget process, and I just want to clear up some misconception and misinformation. On January 27 of 2026, this council approved the Finance Department's tentative budget timeline. And one of the specific things in that is it details when ads are published, et cetera. But more importantly, because I don't want anyone to think that this council did not have sufficient time to review that budget, is the fact that on Friday, April 17th, almost a full month before we were asked to approve the budget for the coming fiscal year, all council members were given a copy of the proposed budget. And then that was followed in May by a council work session where it again was reviewed. But we had the material almost a month before we were asked to vote on it. And I just want to make that clear to everyone, just so you know that we were informed. We had plenty of opportunity to ask questions. And I believe that a number of our council members did do that. I think that's it for today. I will also comment about the speeders. I know that we have commented a number of times. I know Mr. Barr has raised the issue about watching out for motorcyclists. But it's the workers on the side of the road. And I think if you want to get a real feel for what some of these people are having to endure, all you have to do is stand up here on the sidewalk on Southfield when there's heavy traffic, and you'll get just a small idea of what some of these workers who are working on freeways are going through, because here they're only going 40 or 45. Can you imagine working somewhere where they're going 55, 60, or 70 miles an hour? Just do it once, and you'll have a better appreciation for what these people are having to endure. I'm probably going to think about 4 or 5 other things afterwards. Maybe I'll fit them in the next council meeting. But at this point, please enjoy all the festivities that are coming up this weekend, particularly the Historical Commission grand opening, long anticipated, and I think it's going to be a very wonderful thing. So it looks like we're going to get some decent weather for a change for the weekend, which will also be nice. And with that, I will ask for a motion to adjourn. Motion by Mr. Lloyd, supported by Mr. Schlack and everyone else. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. We are adjourned at 8:07.